simply refuse to pay. I mean, the pirates have a lot of hostages, and the consequences of those being shot, for instance, would be unimaginable.
The heart-stopping moment a cruise ship hit an iceberg has been caught on camera by terrified passengers.
Hijacking a cargo ship in the Red Sea, 25 crew members taken hostage.
Armed forces boarded a ship off the Isle of Wight tonight and gained control after a suspected hijacking.
You just inherited $80 million from your uncle. And congratulations, because you're thinking about buying an oil tanker and becoming a shipping mogul who controls global commerce and makes money while you sleep. You're picturing yourself as this powerful maritime tycoon with ships sailing across oceans making steady passive income from oil companies that desperately need to transport petroleum. You think shipping is stable and predictable, and once you own a tanker, the money just keeps coming in month after month. The reality is completely different and way more depressing, because owning an oil tanker is one of the worst financial decisions you can possibly make with inherited money. Most tanker owners go bankrupt within 3 to 5 years. The shipping market is completely unpredictable and brutal. Fuel prices swing wildly based on geopolitics. Shipping rates collapse constantly. Insurance costs skyrocket. And you're paying millions just to keep a metal ship from rusting into nothing. By the end of this video, you'll understand why owning an oil tanker isn't wealth building, and it's definitely not passive income. It's actually just a way to turn $80 million into negative net worth, while you watch your investment sink literally and figuratively into the ocean. Let's start with what a tanker actually costs, because it's way more than you think. There are different types of tankers, and they cost different amounts. A small product tanker that carries refined oil costs about 20 to 30 million. A mid-size Aframax tanker costs 40 to 60 million. A large supertanker that carries crude oil costs 80 to 150 million. You've got 80 million, so you can buy one decent mid-sized tanker or possibly a smaller supertanker if you're stretching it. Most of your money is gone just acquiring the vessel before you've made a single dollar of revenue. But here's where people get fucked. Buying the tanker is the cheapest part of ownership. The real expenses start the moment you take possession, and they're absolutely brutal. The first thing you need to understand is that you don't own a tanker and immediately start making money. You own a tanker and immediately start losing money because the costs never stop. The biggest expense is crew, and it's fucking insane how much you pay to keep people working on your ship. A tanker requires a trained professional crew to operate safely. You need a captain who makes $100,000 to $150,000 per year. You need first officer, second officer, chief engineer, second engineer, bosun, and crew members. That's 12 to 18 people total. All of them live on the ship during their rotation. A captain costs serious money because captains are experienced and have massive responsibility. You're paying $1.5 to $2 million per year just in crew salaries, and that's before benefits or anything else. But you also have to rotate the crew because nobody lives on a ship for a year straight without losing their mind. They work 4 weeks out, then go home for 4 weeks. So you need essentially 2 crews to keep the ship operational continuously. You need to fly them to the ship and back home regularly. Flights from the Philippines to Europe or the Middle East cost $1,000 to $3,000 per person. You're flying 18 people multiple times per year. That's another $300,000 to $400,000 per year just in crew transportation. You're paying nearly $2.5 million per year just to have people operate the ship. Then there's fuel, which is where you really start bleeding money every single fucking day. Your tanker burns heavy fuel oil constantly. A large supertanker burns about 300 tons of fuel per day just to keep moving. At current prices, that's roughly $150,000 per day in fuel costs. You're spending $4.5 million per month just on fuel, $54 million per year. That's more than half your initial investment gone in 1 year just to keep the boat moving through the water. You haven't made a single dollar yet. But here's the insane part. Fuel prices are completely unpredictable and outside your control. In 2020, oil prices went negative. Ships were literally paying people to take fuel because nobody wanted it. In 2022, fuel spiked to $130 a barrel because Russia invaded Ukraine. Oil traders were panicking. Your fuel costs could double overnight because of geopolitics thousands of miles away. You have zero control. The ocean doesn't care about your business plan. Insurance is another massive expense that costs millions annually. You need hull insurance, which covers damage to the ship. You need liability insurance, which covers if you damage something else. You need protection and indemnity insurance, which covers crew injuries and cargo damage. You need pollution liability insurance, which covers if you spill oil. Combined, this costs $5 to $10 million per year, depending on the tanker size and age. That's 5 to 10% of your potential revenue every single year just for insurance. But insurance doesn't cover everything, which is the fucked up part. If you have a major accident and spill oil, the cleanup costs come out of your pocket first. The Exxon Valdez spill cost over $2 billion to clean up. A modern tanker spill can cost hundreds of millions. One captain fell asleep, hit a rock, and the cleanup cost over $1 billion. That's not insured, that's you paying out of pocket. You could lose your entire company in one accident. Maintenance is constant and expensive because a tanker is a massive steel structure constantly exposed to saltwater and corrosion. Everything rusts. The hull needs inspection every 5 years, which costs $1 to $3 million. Tank cleaning requires specialized equipment and workers. Pipe maintenance, pump maintenance, electrical systems, all of it needs work constantly. A major overhaul every 5 years costs $10 to $15 million. You're spending $2 to $3 million per year in routine maintenance, just keeping the ship from falling apart. Port fees are brutal too. Every time you dock at a port, you pay fees. Berthing fees, cargo handling, documentation, pilots, all of it. A single port visit costs $30,000 to $70,000. You might dock 50 to 100 times per year. That's another $2 to $4 million per year, just for port fees. Now let's talk about revenue, which is where the nightmare really starts. Oil tankers operate on a spot market where you bid on individual shipments. You don't have long-term contracts usually. You bid against other tanker owners for cargo. The shipping rate varies wildly based on supply and demand. When there's a lot of cargo and not enough ships, rates are high. When there's a lot of ships and not enough cargo, rates are shit. A typical rate for a supertanker is $30,000 to $50,000 per day when the market is decent. Let's say you're averaging $35,000 per day. That's about $12.5 million per year in gross revenue. But your fuel costs $54 million. Your crew costs $2.5 million. Your insurance costs $7 million. Your maintenance costs $2 million. Your port fees cost $3 million. That's a total of $68.5 million in costs. You're losing $56 million per year before taxes and depreciation. You're completely fucked. The only way this works is if shipping rates are double or triple the average. But rates don't stay high. When rates spike, every shipping company orders new tankers. Supply floods the market. Rates collapse. In 2023, supertanker rates dropped to $15,000 per day. Some days they were $10,000. Some days zero because there was no cargo to haul. A ship burning $150,000 per day in fuel, making $10,000 in revenue, is losing $140,000 per day. That's $50 million in losses per year on a single ship. This is what happened to shipping magnate Gail Shekel. He's a billionaire who's made fortunes in shipping multiple times, but he's also lost billions. In the 2010s, he was worth billions. Shipping rates collapsed. His net worth crashed by billions. He survived because he's already a billionaire with investments all over the world. He could absorb the losses. You can't. Your 80 million gets wiped out in a year of bad rates and you're completely destroyed. Then there's the leverage problem, which fucks most people. You don't buy a tanker with cash, you finance it. You put down 20 million and finance 60 million. Now you're paying interest on $60 million. At 5% interest, that's 3 million per year, just in interest costs. You're not making money. You're servicing debt while losing money on operations. Meet VLCC, which is a shipping company that owns multiple tankers. They were profitable for years. Then shipping rates collapsed. They lost hundreds of millions. Their stock crashed. Shareholders got destroyed. They barely survived by cutting costs and selling ships at losses. And they're a professional shipping company with decades of experience. You're an amateur with inherited money. Then there's John Fredrickson again, who I mentioned earlier. He's made and lost fortunes in shipping multiple times. He's currently the richest shipping magnate in the world, but he's been bankrupt before. He survived because he's a billionaire. He could absorb billion-dollar losses. You can't. Your 80 million is gone in 2 bad years of shipping. The geopolitical risk is insane too. Your tanker is sailing through international waters carrying oil, which makes it a target. The Houthis in Yemen attacked ships in the Red Sea. Ships got damaged. Insurance rates spiked. Routes became too dangerous. Your tanker's value dropped because of conflict thousands of miles away that you have zero control over. Or you're carrying Russian oil and suddenly sanctions get imposed. Your cargo gets seized. You're liable for the cargo, you lose millions. Or you're carrying Iranian oil and the US imposes sanctions. You face federal charges, your ship gets seized, your money is gone, your life is ruined. Environmental regulations are getting stricter too. The International Maritime Organization is phasing out heavy fuel oil. By 2050, all ships need cleaner fuel. Your tanker becomes obsolete. You can retrofit with scrubbers, but that costs 5 to 10 million. Or you sell for scrap. Either way, your asset depreciates. Piracy is another risk. Off Somalia, off West Africa, pirates attack ships. One hijacked tanker means millions in ransom demands. Insurance covers some. You cover the rest. Your crew gets held hostage. Your cargo gets stolen. You're paying for everything. Let's do the actual math on tanker ownership. Best case scenario, you buy a $60 million tanker. Your annual costs are $50 to $60 million. Your annual revenue is $12 to $15 million from shipping rates. You're losing $35 to $45 million per year. You're bankrupt by year 2 or 3. You sell the ship for $30 million because the market value dropped. You've lost your entire $80 million. Realistic scenario is worse. You finance $50 million of the purchase. You put down $30 million. Fuel costs eat $54 million per year. Crew costs $2.5 million. Insurance costs $7 million. Maintenance costs $2 million. Port fees cost $3 million. Interest on the loan costs $2.5 million. Total costs are $68 million per year. You're making $12 million in revenue. You're losing $56 million per year. After 2 years, you've lost $112 million. You're bankrupt. You sell the ship at a loss. You file for bankruptcy. Your life is destroyed. Worst case scenario, you buy right before rates collapse completely. The market floods with new tankers. Rates drop to $5,000 per day some days. Your fuel costs $150,000 per day. You're losing $145,000 per day. You're bleeding $4 million per month. After 5 months, your down payment is gone. You default on the loan. The bank seizes the ship. They sell it for a massive loss and come after you for the difference. You owe tens of millions you can't pay. Bankruptcy. Ruined. This is why most tanker owners are either massive shipping corporations or they're running illegal operations. A small operator with 1 or 2 ships is almost always a mistake. You don't have the scale to absorb bad years. You don't have the leverage to negotiate better rates. You don't have diversification. You have 1 ship losing money. Here's the structural problem. With tanker ownership, shipping is a commodity business. Rates are set by global supply and demand. You have 0 control. You can't raise rates because nobody will hire you. You have massive fixed costs that don't change. Fuel costs the same whether you have cargo or not. Crew costs the same. Insurance costs the same. When rates drop, you're underwater immediately. You can't cut costs fast enough. You go bankrupt. So if you're sitting there with $80 million in inherited money, thinking about buying an oil tanker and becoming a shipping magnate, here's what you should actually do instead. Don't. Invest in index funds that actually make money. Invest in real estate that produces steady rental income. Invest in a business where you control the variables and the economics make sense. An oil tanker will take your $80 million and feed it to fuel costs and crew salaries and insurance premiums until there's nothing left. The ocean doesn't care that you inherited money. It just cares that you made a terrible fucking decision, and the ocean always wins.